Hello everyone, I'm Lydia and this group presentation will cover performance-enhancing technology in sports and how it will impact leagues and organizations across all levels of competitions. Almost all of us are familiar with performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs for short. While the use and side effects of PEDs remain a glaring issue in sports, performance-enhancing technology is another topic that will soon need to be addressed by sports leaders. Performance-enhancing technology refers to advancements in equipment designed to help athletes perform better. It also refers to biomedical engineering practices designed to make athletes stronger, faster, and able to recover quicker than they could naturally. This technology doping is controversial because many see it as an unfair advantage, just like performance-enhancing drugs. For more on this, let's turn it over to Dan.
Sports performance has looked into further evolving for decades. One specific example of this includes the Global Positioning System, or the GPS. The GPS has helped drastically reduce the incidence of sport injuries. It can track an athlete's speed, positioning, power, and electromyography. By combining this information with other biological factors, such as an athlete's sleep, nutrition, fitness level, and previous injury history, teams are now able to determine which players are actually physically ready to play and which ones are not. This also helps prevent future injuries. Jimbo Fisher, Florida State University's football coach, has accredited this GPS system to a 90% decrease in his team's soft tissue injuries over the past 4 seasons. Another enhancement in athletes is the use of the prosthetic limb. In a study done at the German Sport University in Cologne, it was determined that amputee runners were able to run at the same speed as able-bodied runners with almost 25% less energy expenditure. The energy loss in the prosthetic blade was measured at 9.3% during the stance phase, while the average energy loss in the ankle joint of the able-bodied controlled athletes was measured at 41.4%, meaning that the mechanical advantage of the blade in relation to the healthy ankle joint of an able-bodied athlete is higher than 30%. The positive work or returned energy from the prosthetic blade is about 3 times higher than that of the human ankle joint in maximum sprinting. Sports equipment has also seen evolution. Baseball bats, both aluminum and wood, have continuously improved over time. Fiberglass poles in the sport of javelin has improved throwing distance by almost 30%. Likewise, bicycles in the sport of cycling are now lighter and more aerodynamic. Future improvement in sports can most likely be attributed to gene therapy, an up-and-coming type of medical procedure. The World Anti-Doping Agency defines gene therapy as a non-therapeutic use of the cells, genes, genetic elements, or modulation of gene expression having the capacity to enhance performance. It is yet to be proven safe, however.
Let's take a look at what Dan can hit like pre-LASIK eye surgery and gene therapy and post-LASIK eye surgery and gene therapy. So now you know a little bit more about performance-enhancing technology. It all sounds pretty neat, right? However, there are questions that need to be addressed regarding performance-enhancing technology. Our first question is how sports leaders will address these rapid advancements in technology and what are the ethical implications. First, leaders need to be proactive in their decision-making. A proactive leader would have these leadership skills. First, they adapt immersive learning. Leaders need to educate themselves on the evolving subject of performance-enhancing technology so they can adapt whenever the situation arises. Also, they have to have a sense of bioempathy. They have to keep respect for what is natural, like the human body itself. And then third, they have to have clarity in their message. They have to communicate their plan of action regarding performance-enhancing technologies as vividly as possible to followers so there's no error in communication and misunderstanding. To answer part 2 of this question, there are some ethical implications with performance-enhancing technology. First, money rules. Few can afford performance-enhancing technology, and it creates an unfair advantage for some athletes. Second, athletes could abuse medical procedures when they aren't necessarily needed just to get better at what they do. And then third, young athletes could get enhanced way before their bodies have matured properly. But that's a discussion we'll have later, so keep that in mind. Now let's head to Lydia for our next segment.
Our next question relates to how sports leaders will enforce fairness when it comes to new technology. Will leaders address the subject through increased policies and regulations? The answer is most likely. Rules and regulations can be put in place to allow, regulate, or ban these technologies. Here are three potential solutions. Number one, do not allow enhancement unless medically necessary. This allows sports to remain status quo without any drastic changes. Number two, allow athletes to get enhanced as they please. By doing this, anyone has the same opportunity to use the technology. And number three, put a monetary cap on how much teams or players can spend on technology. This keeps some teams with more resources from having an advantage over other teams. There could be many more solutions than just these three, but there are examples of the policies sports leaders need to consider regarding technology enhancement. For our next discussion, let's go back to Dan.
What about the possibility of creating an entirely new league with bionic athletes? Could these new technologies lead to future leagues solely with enhanced players? Based on the information we have, technology has enhanced sports leagues already. This means that it is entirely possible for bionic sports leagues to become a reality. There are already two bodybuilding and weightlifting divisions, one that drug tests and one that does not. So if PED users and non-users can be separated, it is likely that the technology can separate athletes in the future as well. Imagine a sports league where athletes are enhanced through prosthetics and gene therapy. The gameplay would be a new, exciting experience for sports fans to take in. But how would seeing these bionic athletes affect other young athletes? Let's ask Kevin.
We've mentioned a few times that there are ethical dilemmas with young athletes and performance-enhancing technology. If these kids want to grow up and be like their favorite bionic athletes in these bionic leagues, will they be more inclined to receive biomedical enhancement at a young age? Chances are they will, and the results might not end up being very good. Their bodies are still maturing at a young age, and receiving enhancement may not be natural for them going forward. In fact, many young baseball players are abusing a current procedure known as Tommy John surgery already. This surgery is known for not only repairing a torn elbow ligament, but also making it stronger and helping people throw harder after the surgery. Some high school athletes, and even some younger than that, are undergoing this procedure already without even having a torn ligament to repair completely. So, if young athletes are already getting these procedures, like Tommy John, who's to stop them from getting gene therapy at a young age despite possible side effects? It's a complicated matter, and we'd like to hear your thoughts in the Q&A discussion. Another topic of discussion regards future generations and how accustomed they will be to technological advances. Will the paradigm of fairness change in the future? If everyone has enhancements, the playing field could stay the same. It's a similar argument to performance-enhancing drugs right now. Some argue that professional athletes should be allowed to use performance-enhancing drugs so they can have an even playing field. In the future, maybe all athletes should have LASIK eye surgery, or all athletes should receive some sort of biomedical enhancement that puts them all at the same level. It's an interesting argument, and it's one, again, that we'd like to discuss in our Q&A.
To recap our presentation, new technology has been integrated in sports for years now, and there are even more changes coming in the near future.
Sports leaders have to be on top of these technological advances to make educated decisions going forward. They can't have chaos in their various sports, with some players having biomedical enhancements and others being just regular people like us.
All of these advanced technologies are coming soon, and it'll be interesting to see how the sports world adapts and changes. Thanks again for watching our presentation.